members of council, deans of faculties, and of the postgraduate studies and students, directors of institutes, including Distance Learning Center and Pan-African University, including Life and Earth Sciences, also known as PAULESI, ESO department, members of Senate, parents, other critical stakeholders of this university, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I have the pleasure in welcoming you to the second Parent Stakeholder Forum of the University of Ibadan, organized for generating robust ideas from all its stakeholders who are spread all over the world. For this Vice Chancellor, the 12th Vice Chancellor of our university, he believes it is through this kind of engagement that acceptable and world-class universities are made. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to formally welcome and present to you the Vice Chancellor and the first scientist from our Faculty of Science to become his Vice Chancellor since 1948, when the Premier University was established. I present to you Professor Ebe Idowu Olayinka, FAS. The chairman of this occasion, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, is a wonderful Nigerian, outstanding scholar, and the longest serving Vice Chancellor of this university, Professor Ayo Ladipo Banjo, CON. May I also introduce to you the Deputy Vice Chancellor Administration, Professor Emile Oloron Ambrose Ayelari. Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic, Professor Gbemisola Adiremi Oke. The Registrar, Mr. Olujimi Olukoya. The Provost College of Medicine, Professor Babatunde Lawal Salako. And I also present to you a distinguished Nigerian representing the royalty here this morning. But beyond that, he has served meritoriously as the press secretary to 4 different governors in the old Oyo State between 1983 and 1989. He served Lechi Bolaigi, retired Major General Oladayo Pokola, MNI CFR, retired Brigadier General Adetuji Oluni, and retired late Brigadier General Sasaini Adedeji Oresanya. I present to you Oloye Lekan Alabi, Agbake Olubadan of Ibadan land. Let me also quickly introduce to you the bursar of this university, Mr. Michael Akiade Alatishi. The University Librarian, Dr. B.A. Oladele. The chairman of this occasion kindly notes that in this congregation this morning, the chairman of this occasion kindly notes that in this congregation this morning, we have our critical stakeholders, including parents, former University of Ibadan administrators, alumni, religious bodies, security agencies, service providers, other tertiary institutions administrators, staff and students unions of this university, community leaders, who kindly permit me, the chairman, sir, to also quickly recognize and present to you the Secretary, College of Medicine, Mrs. Olubomi Ofaluyi. the Director of Special Duties, Office of the Vice Chancellor, and former Dean Faculty of Science of East University, Professor K.O. Adebowale. May I also recognize in another special manner the Chairman of the Council Committee on Security, Professor Abdulrazak Akola Alada. Superintendent of Police Joyce Mayagi. I also present to you the Dean of Students, Professor A.T.P. Ajuwape. The Dean Faculty of Law, Professor Olatubosun. The Dean Basic Medical Sciences, Professor Olusegun Ademowo. You are most welcome. I will take further recognitions later. At this point, I have the singular honor of inviting the chairman of this occasion to please make his opening remarks, Emeritus Professor Ayobanjo Siwe.
Deputy Vice Chancellors, Deans of Faculties, honored guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I would like first of all to express how happy I am to be here this morning to be part of this unique gathering. I don't think the UI has provided a platform for the microcosm of society gathered here this morning. And I'm pleased that in spite of the inclement weather, you've all been able to do it. I think it indicates that you are really interested in the subject that will be discussed this morning. I should like to congratulate the Vice Chancellor, Professor Idowu Olayinka, for initiating this move to get everybody involved in the destiny of the University of Ibadan, to make people realize the unique position that the University of Ibadan occupies even in the system of universities of this country. And I think that even though we all admit that the buck stops at the desk first of the Minister of Education and then of the President of the country to finance universities properly, although we realize all of that, it's very important that the stakeholders of the university should understand the position of the university and to realize what is at stake and then determine to do what they are able to do. When I left office as Vice Chancellor exactly 25 years ago, I thought that there was a lot of work to be done, let me put it that way, to put all universities in the country on a proper footing. Funds were severely short. But I was pleased about 10 years later to see that after all the agitations of ASU and other stakeholders, the government decided to make more funds available to the universities. And so some improvements came about, and Ibadan, of course, enjoyed some of these. But unfortunately, that happy period seems to have come to an end, and the universities again are hard put even to pay salaries. And this is not a good thing at a time when knowledge rules the world, and we are not able to play a proper part. Ibadan has the human resources, there's no doubt at all about that. What it needs are the tools to do the work, to play its full part in the development of this country. I hope that the message that you will be getting from this meeting will be transmitted through all of you to the rest of the country, that Ibadan will get more sympathy of its stakeholders, no university is an island anymore. The idea of the ivory tower has been eroded over the years. The university is properly part of society, and that is the basis for this meeting here this morning. And so we must all cooperate to keep Ibadan in the forefront. I'm glad that Oloye Lekan Alabi is here, because our principal landlords are the people of Ibadan, and he's so influential and so close to the Olubadan that I'm sure that everything discussed here today will resonate at the meetings of the makers and shakers of Ibadan. Once again, I welcome you all. I thank you for responding, and I hope that we will have useful discussions which will be the beginning of putting Ibadan on another path to the true greatness for which it was designed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. With your kind permission, kindly allow me to introduce former Dean of Law and a distinguished member of the Governing Council, Dean Faculty of Education, Professor M.K. Akishola, Dean of Law, Professor Adeni Olatubosun, Acting Dean Faculty of Public Health, Dr. Arudogun, Dean of Science, Professor Abiodun Onibude, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Education of your state, is being ably represented there this morning by the Director of Higher and Continuing Education, Minister of Education, Science and Technology of your state, Mrs. Victoria Akande. You are most welcome. Dean of Veterinary Medicine, Professor Matthew Oyeyemi. I also recognize former Dean, Faculty of Social Sciences, former Chief Economic Advisor to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and now Head of Economics, Faculty of the Social Sciences of this University, Professor Kasi Garba. Dean of Dentistry, Professor Arotiba. You are most welcome, sir. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may I invite the Vice Chancellor, Professor Ebeli Dubola Yinka, FAS, to please rise and present the stage of the university. The Vice Chancellor.
The Chairman of this occasion, Professor Emeritus Ayobanjo, I'd like to thank you most especially, sir, for honoring our humble invitation. When an event was held here on Sunday, and you were also the chairman, and you told me that to be coming out on Tuesday for the parent stakeholders forum, I was very delighted. Needless to say that when I finished from here in 1981, Professor Ayobanjo was Deputy Vice Chancellor. Then I used to be only one Deputy Vice Chancellor. And I was the person who recruited me from UK in 1987 as a lecturer grade 2. So we remain entirely grateful to you, sir. All the principal officers of the university, as already mentioned by the Director of Public Communication, and all the stakeholders, we thank you for coming to this second direct stakeholders forum. I think the first one was held about 4 years ago. I think the journalists will claim that it's only bad stories that they sell. Because in peace time, if we are convening this kind of a meeting, people will be wondering what are they up to. But I'm sure very large number of participants here, the only thing they want to hear is when the students going to resume. And that is a deliberate, which I think is a legitimate demand. But at the same time, we have to situate the problems properly. Like we are all aware, but has been there since 1947-48. And one just has the privilege to be the 15th person to be the chief executive officer of this institution. Before at the University College from 1948 to 1962. We had the three principals, Mellanby, Sanders, and Parry, before Kennedy became the last principal and first vice chancellor. This university is a national heritage. It belongs to all of us, whether you have been to Ibadan, or your dad, or your uncle, or your teacher, or the teachers of your teacher. It's an alumnus of this place. And I think Ibadan is probably one of only two institutions in Nigeria where our candidates are applying for JAM, for which the entire country is the catchment. Some other universities is 2 or 3 states. Maybe it's only University of Abuja and Ibadan that the entire country is the catchment. So to that effect, we think all Nigerians they have a stake in what is happening here. So the outline of this brief talk is not so much for us to sermonize, but just to situate things in the proper context. We like to look at an aspect of the University of Ibadan Act because it's relevant to the current crisis we have on our hands. Then the vision for the 21st century, which you can see from the background there. Then what does it mean? What does it take to build a world-class university, not just a mere cliche? We elected to be a world-class institution. Then we have to also look at the best practices. Then student matters. I mean, we are here because of the students. Then staff matters, the state of infrastructural facilities. And when some journalists asked me maybe about a week ago about the crisis, I mean, to me, university is not a profit. It's not for profit. At the same time, we need money to run this institution, as alluded to by the chairman. So we are going to mention something about the state of our infrastructural facilities. Then what are the major sources of income? Then the major items of expenditure. Just a few of them. I cannot exhaust this in a short talk like this, which will last just barely 20 minutes. Then what are the major items of expenditure? Then the current challenges and the way forward. That's to address the issue of when are we going to reopen. And the truth of the matter is, we are all standing on giants of shoulders. I don't have the power to reopen the university. The Senate of this university, just by chance that I happen to be the chairman. So the university operates on committee system. So when you are going to ask, when are we going to reopen, ask all the members of Senate. And our Senate is like House of Representatives, because we are almost 500 there. Concluding remarks. Coming to the University of Ibadan Act, it says it shall be this section 2, that it shall be the general function of the university, that's the University of Ibadan, to encourage the advancement of learning throughout Nigeria and to hold out to all persons without distinction of race, creed, or sex the opportunity of acquiring a liberal education, and for the purpose of carrying out that function, it shall be the duty of the university, so far as its resources permit. See, I highlighted that one. So far as its resources permit, to provide such facilities for the pursuit of learning and the acquisition of a liberal education as are appropriate for a university of the highest standing. So we want this university to remain of the highest standing, and it will also come for free. Then to make those facilities available on proper terms to such persons as are equipped to benefit from the use of the facilities. I mean, this famous cartoon of mine, just to show that the academic reputation of Ibadan over the last 67 to 8 years, during the University College era from 1948 to 1962, there was reserve enrollment. It was so competitive. I think only 104 students were admitted here in January 1948. There was maximum intellectual exposure for the staff and students. There was institutional autonomy and academic freedom. Physical teaching and learning facilities were of the highest standards. In fact, I understand that some of the students who were asked to withdraw from University College Ibadan on account of poor academic performance, many of them went to America, they went to Europe, and did very well. International students and staff mix. But these days now, you can as well afford to be speaking Yoruba in class, because almost every other person is from the Southwest. A very solid foundation and culture of research was laid. Then the reputation was still very high during the nascent university days until the unfortunate school was 1770, when many of the lecturers there and professors, especially from Eastern Nigeria, they left, like the eminent Professor Agodi Owubechili, who became professor here at the age of 30, later became vice chancellor at Ife. He used to be in our department of physics. Those were the turbulent years, highly unfavorable political and socio-economic climate. The middle class to which the academics belonged was wiped out. There was brain drain or brain circulation, local and foreign. There were incessant strikes by staff unions. We know that by the act to cancel 3 academic sessions, we cancelled 94, 95, We cancelled 99, 2000. We also cancelled 2006, 2007. So some of these things that we are seeing are not really new. But this became depleted and obsolete. We had very large student numbers, and you still remember the days of Ferguson. The acting chief security officer was in 1999. There was gross underfunding, as alluded to by our eminent chairman. There was loss of institutional autonomy and academic freedom. All this contributed in the steady fall in national and international prestige. But happily, over the last 17 years, there has been efforts to revitalize this university, a new place of academic life. So we have a vision and mission for the 21st century, as you can easily see from the background here. That's our vision. So we're thinking we continue along this line with the support of all our stakeholders who are represented in this iconic French harbor. Then the fortunes of Ibadan can only get better in the years to come. So what does it take to build a world-class university? Three main elements. We need a concentration of talent, half of the students, the staff, the researchers, the internalization. Then we need abundant resources, terms of public budget. Since the federal government institution, so the government has to provide for us adequate resources to function. Endowment revenues, then fees paid by students, then from research grants. Then we also need a favorable governance. An aspect of this will include a supportive regulatory framework, autonomy, academic freedom, leadership team. We need a strategic vision. Without vision, my people perish. Then the culture of excellence. You cannot measure excellence, but when it is there, you feel it. As in this environment, there is a culture of excellence. And Ibadan was conceived as a fully residential university. I discussed with the late former Vice Chancellor, Emeritus Professor Etina Kamuno. He informed me that as early as early 1970s, he became Vice Chancellor here in 1975, as Ibadan was already having problems with hostel facilities and inadequate staff housing. That was when the issue of off-campus came to the fore. And as we speak, only about a quarter of our students and 28% of our junior staff, as well as 20% of the senior staff, are accommodated on campus. And at times I think living off campus is not really a very viable, it's not a very attractive proposition, especially for the guests because of issue of security and the rest of it. And even the cost, they have to look for money to come to the campus. Like I said, the students are the lifeblood of this institution. And the mark of a truly world-class institution is measured by what is graduates do after you. So we have to adequately prepare our students. And our goal there is to train a new generation of leaders. I never used a computer here as an undergraduate, not until I went to UK for my graduate studies. But now in elementary school, people are using computers. There is iPad, there is iPod, there is all sorts of development in information technology. So things are changing. What was sufficient when I finished here probably could not take anybody anywhere. And the competition is so keen. Every year, 1.5 million candidates write a jam. And the current capacity of all the 140 universities put together is probably less than 500,000. And we are even producing a large army of unemployable graduates. So we really have to make sure that the graduates stand out from the crowd. That's why, to me, it's really very painful. When our students can't even see the bigger picture, they are only interested most of the time in the Aluta. Our students should be empowering-led leaders who are recognized by employers for their intellectual caliber. They have to be able to stand out from the crowd. We need to train our students to think critically and reason practically. Then they should be able to communicate effectively and work in a team. Then, this slide is just showing that total enrollment, almost 30,000 students at the last time. And if you see over the last 7 years, in 2008, 2009, we had 19,551. Now, almost hitting the 30,000 mark. And when I was here, as an undergraduate, I spent 4 years here. I had accommodation for 3 sessions. My first year, 77, 78. The following session, I was first to leave off campus. Then the remaining 2 sessions. But now it's not possible. As we speak, we have about 8,300 bed spaces. 8,300 bed spaces. And this current session, we admitted 4,008 students. So if we are able to accommodate all the first year students, they were taking over almost 50% of our bed spaces. So we also want to accommodate the final year students. So it's a major crisis that we have on our hands. And the students who are executive, physically challenged students, we have to accommodate them. So you need to help us as a stakeholder. Academic staff at the last count was 1,561. And over the last 7-8 years, maybe we have said about 350 academic staff. Of course, it's not enough. The staff-student ratio is still nothing to write home about. People now and then, even this morning I still got a request from the Government of Abuja Station saying that we should give them 2 new positions. The HOD of Economics always harassed me that we need to give them new positions. But when you now think of the salary to pay them, God wants to employ somebody, you can talk with him till he reaches the age of 70. you rather don't employ than start complaining that because people say we are paying half salary, then maybe it's then the 1 quarter. So we have to be careful. The non-teaching staff over the last 7-8 years, there has been an upward increase. At the last count, 4,250 non-teaching staff. Then the infrastructural facilities that we need to support this environment as we imagine electricity supply, critical water, our library, both the physical one and the e-library, they have to be top of the range. The health services, buildings, IT, the grant and environment, roads, open spaces and verges, their safety and security, as well as the transportation. The electricity supply, we get electricity from it by the electricity distribution company through the 2 and 3 kV lines to the university substation towards the second gate. Then we have 5, actually 6 now. So well, there are 6, but 1 is done. So we have 5 functional generators. But if you want to use all the 5 at the same time to hide those samples, then you'll be consuming 1,000 liters of diesel per hour. I don't know how much diesel is now. Maybe 160 or 170. 180. So at the rate 170,000 naira per hour. So it means for 6 hours we have spent 1 million naira. Then there is no free lunch anywhere. Not even in free time. Someone has to pick up the bill. Then we also have several generating sets spread all over the campus to support critical services. I think the Heretical Library has 1 or 2. Then the water supply in the department. Then we also have attempts have been made to have inverters and solar panels to complement this. Water supply, we get raw water from Copper Dam and Eleyeli, which is from Water Corporation of Oyo State. Then we treat them. Then we add alum, chlorine, and lime. Then the filtered water is distributed down to the campus. There are some challenges here. One is inadequate production. Maybe we are okay during the rainy season now, but when it comes to the dry season, there will be a problem. And then for a community of almost 30,000 students, maybe another 7,000-8,000 staff, then dependents and all that, we need about 30 million liters of water per day. So the second water treatment plant is almost completed. There are other challenges in terms of inadequate storage capacity. With pipes in the distribution network, some of the pipes have been there for well over 60 years. Then solving this problem will involve enhancing the efficiency of the existing plant. Then when it comes to question and answer session, you can have more specific questions. The Assistant Director of Works and his team, they are here to address those challenges. Then sources of income. This can be classified into we have the first stream, which are the proprietary funds in terms of our subvention, whether it's for personnel costs, the overhead costs, and the capital grant. Then also from a third fund, which supports staff development, library, and the rest of them. Then some of the government agencies like the PTDL. Then we have the second stream, the user fees from students and the levies. Then endowment, donations, grants and investment and the consultancy. And this is the major cross of the matter. Observe that Monday last week was a public holiday, but from Tuesday to Friday, some of our staff they occupied the Nicer Park every morning. And this is the reason. I mean, this is just trying to compare what we have been receiving over the last 6 years. In 2011, we are receiving 752 million naira every month. In 2012, close to 883 million every month. In 2013, 899 million. Then it dropped a little in 2014 to 804 million. But last year was probably when we had the best, especially from January till October. January till November. It's like they were waiting for me to take over before the allocation. First, by December, it's not so near, but December we received 663 million. 663. And if you imagine that from one of the slides that I showed earlier, the number of staff has been increasing, which is what we expect in a big university like this. The number can never be stagnant. Meanwhile, some of our colleagues, they also have been promoted. Every day, every evening when I close from the office about 9 o'clock, I go with about 2 or 3 Ghana must go back. One of the parts is always the assessment reports. Our colleagues who are going to be promoted to senior lecturer to this. In fact, that's the one I like most, because I want our people to be happy. If I also have not this slide is very important. Last year, we are getting 932 million. This year, that's per month. This year now, for the first 5 months, January to May, 72 point something every month. So the shortfall is almost 100 million naira every month. And how do we now account for this? But happily, we were summoned to Abuja last week by the Honorable Minister of Education, Madam, and he did say that they are aware, the government is aware of the shortfall in the various federal universities. Indeed, quite a number of universities have shortfall, but because we are the oldest, so the magnitude of our shortfall is also the largest, and that is the cause of the matter. Then the overhead, you know, the one I've just shown is the personnel, that's what they use to pay our salaries. But this one is what you need to run the university: pay electricity bill, buy diesel, pay internal examiners, our external assessors, do every other thing. You run you fuel the official vehicles, or you buy official vehicles. All those you have to be taken from the overhead. And you can see 2011 we are taking 237 million throughout the year. It dropped slightly to 260 million. 2013, 250 million. Then 155 in 2014. Last year, 141 million naira. As I'm going to show us in a short while, this it to mean that for running this university, the only thing the government pays for is cleaning to clean the campus. Every other thing, whether it's your electricity bill, you buy diesel, and the rest of the expenses, you fund official cars, you pay honorarium to people. It has to come from the government is not paying for that. Because you give us 141 and they are paying 12 million naira every month for cleaning contractors. That translates to 141, something in that level. Then where do we turn to? We have student-related expenses. 312 in a million in 2011. 2012, 494, it dropped slightly to 399 in 2013. In the 2014, 472. Then last year, 537. Then the postgraduate school. That's why I like to be friends with the dean of the postgraduate school, because it's the richest person around. In 2011, 212 million came to the central academy from a PG school. I mean, I should just mention the fact that it's like maybe you need 100 million. That's for the sake of the argument. Let's assume that we need 100 million to run the university. Government provides 30. So you know that I see a gap of 70. But from all your courses, whether it's PG school, yes, you can raise another 30. So that I see a gap. Because people ask me, what do you do with your IGR? You needed 100 million, government provided 30. Maybe you are also able to match it with another 30. But what then happens to 30 plus 30 is 60, but meanwhile you needed 100 million. And people say, what of the UI Ventures? This morning I have to call the MC of the UI Ventures. Of course, as a member of the board, the chairman is Chief Adetunji. I also know what is going on there. Over the last 3 years, they have not been paying dividends to the University of Ibadan. And the reason is simple. The former vice chancellor said, instead of giving us 20 million, 25 million naira, why don't you reinvest it? And if you are going along if you are going to Ajibode extension, you see a new ultra-modern vehicle on the right-hand side, which is funded by UI Ventures. So that's costing about 130 million naira. And they have not taken any bank loans to do that. So that's why they have not been able to remit money to the University of Ibadan. Why people will say, what of UI Ventures? So I think it's important for us to explain some of these things. Because they think everything is going to the vice chancellor's pocket. So the $1 billion question, what do we need to spend all this money for IGR on? Remember I've said that the only thing that the government is paying for, either deliberately or otherwise, is just barely enough to pay our cleaning contractors. February this year, Professor and myself were at the National Assembly, and they told us, Senator Peter Garba, the Senate Committee Chairman of the Education, he told us that we should not expect any additional funding for overhead. He said the times are hard, so we have to look for IGR to supplement what the government was. Even the House of Reps was still the same story, that we should not expect additional money for overhead costs, but that maybe they will try to assist us with the personnel costs to pay salary. So these are the things we spend money on: ICT, library, the construction of academic buildings, staff quarters, a few of them. There is one on the Crowder Lane, about 2 flats that were just constructed. These are just some of the things that we spend money on: water supply. Then this chemistry lecture theatre, where I received my prelim chemistry lectures, was rehabilitated from IGR. So people need to know. Then the CPN lecture theatre, maybe every year you find 2,000 students taking physical chemistry 100 level, and the place is in a very bad state. The university has to look for money from IGR, not directly from the government. Then the lecture theatre, just by the Dean's Office, Faculty of Science. I'm just giving this as examples of projects that were funded by the IGR. Newly constructed Alexander Frank hostel at the Ritz River. The channelization of cover dam. Then the upper channelization through the fish farm. And Professor Ajayi said this about the biggest fish farm in any university in Africa. Then the multi-purpose building, Department of Aquaculture and Fisheries Management. All these are IGR projects. Aquaculture Research Laboratory, then still part of the fish farm complex. And this is their research laboratory. Professor Mitoyi, the head of the department, and incoming dean of Agriculture is here to confirm. Then the Department of Urban and Regional Planning at the Ajibode extension. The newly constructed fire station, all these are IGR projects, the fire engine, new laboratory, the teaching and research farm. This is just a snapshot. Construction of security gate at Ajibode Road 1. Construction of a block wall fence at the Works and Maintenance Department. Completion of the pharmacy car park. Construction of the admission office on the Akutin Road between the Faculty of Science and Faculty of Technology. This is from IGR. The brand new Ibadan School of Business. This was at the middle of last month. Then construction of Capitata in Awolowo Hall, I think is still under construction. The same thing, the PG Hall, Absalom. Then the admission of the Bank Anthony Hall. Then supply of furniture at the Faculty of Dentistry. Then public toilet at the Student Union Building. Construction of public toilet, Faculty of Arts. Construction of a footbridge and walkway between Faculty of Agriculture and Education, so that students can just walk from education to agri and vice versa instead of going around through the mosque. Beautification and landscaping between the establishment and the student affairs building. Beautification and landscaping of the area behind the student union building. Then conversion of a machine house to reading room. This between botany, microbiology and zoology. Then the CBT center at the distance study center, that's on the way to Shasha. Construction of restaurants and external works. Then the building here, the central admin that houses the vice chancellor. This was after the construction had started. It used to be only 2 floors, ground floor and the first floor. But this is what it looks like now. So the money was funded from internally generated revenue. Then what are the other things that we do that are not capital projects for the current expenditure? So I alluded to the fact that the 140 million naira that government gives us is barely enough to pay any contractors. This shows in 2011, the university spent 119 million to pay any contractors. It dropped slightly to 110 million naira in 2012. In 2013, it was 59 million. In 2014, it was 132 million. Then last year, 149 million. I can see last year, government gave us 141. So more or less, one-to-one correlation between what government gave us to run the university and what was just required to pay the training contractors. Then our external examiners, that is a requirement by the National University Commission, because if we don't invite external examiners, then it means our programs will not be accredited. And what do they use? That as if we have a denied accreditation, it means we cannot admit new students. So the university has to look for resources to do this. Electricity bill. In 2011, the university committed 137 million. This was based, this was based on the information given to me yesterday morning by the professor. In 2012, close to 188 million. In 2013, 176 million. In 2014, 220 million. In 2015, 335 million. Every month, the provost will always send a bill of 6 million naira to me to pay electricity bill from Oritamipa every month without fail. So that's part of it. Then supply of diesel and engine oil. You can see in 2011, we spent 240 million on diesel throughout the year. In 2012, it dropped to 126 million. In 2013, 56 million. It's dropping, not because the price of diesel has dropped, it's just because the university re-engineered the process. There was a lot of leakage. And for this, we remain eternally grateful to my friend and brother, Professor Bayo Ademola Remo and the other members of the diesel committee, because they have been very strict as to how they allocate diesel. That's why the amount of money spent on diesel is dropping, while the price of diesel is even increasing. Then the current challenges. This is a quotation from one of our great emeritus Professor Akikube, who was the foundation vice chancellor of the University of Ilorin, and also later vice chancellor of Ahmadu Bello University. This was 1998, about almost 18 years ago, at the publication lecture at this very venue. And quoting Professor Akikube now, he said, central to the decay and desecration is funding. Central to the decay and desecration is funding. And it does not need a gift of prophetic wisdom to surmise that unless this is addressed positively and aggressively, that's the issue of funding, there can be no turnaround in the status of Nigerian universities. So some of the strategies to improve power supply, we've had talks with a German company. I think about 2 or 3 weeks ago I was in Abuja with the German ambassador. We pay a courtesy call on the Honorable Minister of Education. The German company is trying to assist us because this is still in the pipeline. So we just hope it will be implemented soon. Then we also think if we are connected to the 132 kV feeder from the electricity distribution company. I must also add that the electricity distribution company are very sympathetic to our cause. But you know, they don't generate electricity, they only distribute. So you cannot give what you do not have. But every time they give us preference, knowing full well that we are one of their major customers in the Ibadan. So they are they are having to collaborate well with us. Then we need a phased program of replacing the aging cables, both the low tension and high tension cables. They need to be replaced. Like I said, some of them are more than 60 years old. And it's the same problem even with our House of Residents. I mean, I tell people that elsewhere, where resources are more in abundance, most of these houses will have been demolished and redeveloped. But if you make the mistake of demolishing any of them, then they just be overgrown with weeds in our clients. Then we are trying to complement it with inverter and solar cells. Then this can be done by direct labor. Then we also we are trying to use energy savings equipment. And one of the things we have done over the past few months was to set up a committee under Professor Adenipiji, the Professor of Economics and the Director of the Center for Petroleum, Energy, Economics and Law, to help us fashion out an energy policy for the institution, but still work in progress. But this will also save us some money. Then we are also making efforts to improve the energy efficiency of our new buildings. Then we also, this university, because people ask, what are you doing? Why are you not looking forward? All hands are on deck, but all some of these things take a lot of time, can take a lot of time. So we are encouraging multidisciplinary research into renewable energy resources to generate biofuels and biodiesel. And there are already some encouraging results. So we are not demoning our faith. We know that things will improve. And this is a prototype wireless equipment that is being developed by some of our colleagues in the Department of Petroleum Engineering. Then on the issue of the water supply, we said we need to expand and enhance the efficiency of the water treatment plant. Then to ensure 24-hour power supply to the plant, maybe we have to use inverter and the raw water pumping station. Then this can be complemented with boreholes. We also set up a committee. In fact, somebody is trying to go around the House of Presidents to find out what is the state of the boreholes in those House of Presidents, and we expect a report in the coming days. Then since the university was closed on the 26th of April, we set up a committee which was charged to address the inadequate provision of electricity and water supply on the campus. The committee was headed by the head of the Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering, Professor Olatunji. They just submitted their report yesterday evening, while the office team after it looking at the report, all the principal officers and some management staff. So we think some of the recommendations there can be implemented, the short term, the medium term, and the long term. Then concluding remarks. We said we mentioned the fact that the future is very bright to our university, but why there are some immediate challenges. And the university was closed exactly 6 weeks ago on Tuesday. So we are marking the 60th anniversary of the closure of the university. And I must add that we are not very happy about it. But again, if we look at the immediate cause of this was that the student was suspended. Why was it suspended? There was a crisis in Independence Hall, November 18 or 19 or thereabout. Mainly because of the inadequate power supply. Even though I understand that was power, I was still living at Lokumeru, I was not yet the Vice Chancellor. That was November, second half of November, either 18th or 19th. So one thing led to the other. The plan was arranged before the relevant committees, centrally committed offenses. We went to Student Disciplinary Committee, we went to the appeal. I mean, was asked to appeal, but he didn't appeal. The letter that was sent to him from Student Affairs says you have been rotated for 1 semester. Then you forfeit your right to accommodation. Then you complete your program. Of course, I understand it's a 500 level students. That if you are not satisfied, you appeal to governing council. But rather than appeal to council, we went to mobilize National Association of Nigerian Students. That's students from Federal College of Education, students from School of Statistics, and they wrote to the Vice Chancellor that we should rescind the decision of the Student Disciplinary Committee and apologize to the students. I don't know whether that one is an appeal or a threat. I mean, it's there in black and white. If we are to even be students of UI, one can understand. Students from Federal School of Statistics here, Lautech, writing to Vice Chancellor of University of Ibadan. I think we don't restate this boy within 2 weeks. We are going to invade University of Ibadan. And exactly that was what they did on the 25th and 26th of April. And we felt there was a threat, real threat to life and property. They went to this department. Professor Hussein, who is in this audience, I've cited him, he was my former teacher, the former Vice Chancellor of State University. They nearly picked him up. They tore up the question paper that he was administering to test, that he was administering to students in the Department of Physics. That was just one example. They went to human nutrition and rat them out. And we felt there was a real threat to life and property. Meanwhile, the saw students from School of Statistics, College of Education, wearing hoods in broad daylight, not UI students. A typical UI student will not have the courage to go and confront Mr. Zain, who is old enough to be my uncle, and I'm also old enough to be the uncle of some of them. So that was the genesis of the crisis. But I also tell people, this university will not be closed forever, because we are supposed to promote knowledge. So we cannot also stop people from acquiring knowledge. I've alluded to the fact that we set up a committee that help us to look at the inadequate provision, so that submitted their report just over the last 24 hours. So we are looking into it. And we want something that will be a bit sustainable. Everything revolves around the funding. But we were 2 weeks before exams when the students started to make the place governable. And hopefully we call the meeting of Senate as soon as possible to deliberate and tell them. And hoping that the students will also learn their lessons and they give this a chance. We have to learn to obey constituted authority. Those are some of the issues. So we said that we are targeting global universities, and the truth of the matter is, I know many members of this audience who are both members of staff, teaching, non-teaching, junior, senior, who are also parents to some of the students, even in the University of Ibadan. So they cannot be happy in the morning they are leaving for office, then their works are at home, enjoying an indefinite holiday. So it can never be we versus them, with or without us. So all of us are here to put this together and fashion out a way to represent our university. We don't, if we add the solution to all the problems, then there was no point inviting this beautiful audience or the Tuesday morning. I'm sure some of you are traveling from outside the country. But so we are not problem with this position. But I want you to assist us. Because like I said, I think on the first or second slide, that this university belongs to all of us. And like the chairman said, actually the university belongs to Ibadan people, because they gave this land to the university for 999 years. So they can as well revoke the certificate of occupancy if you don't behave ourselves. Thank you.
The chairman of and do it better for the Vice Chancellor, Professor Ebeli Ololayinka, FA. Before we get to the next item on this program, may I quickly recognize the former Commissioner for Special Duties of your state, Dr. Lasisi Balogun. You are most welcome, sir. We pay special tribute to the following organizations for their wonderful support, men and officers of the Directorate of Security Service of your state, men and officers of Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps of your state, ably represented there this morning by the Assistant Commandant of NSDC, Mr. Paul Shomide. I also recognize the president of all Aluta forces in UI, the president of our student union, Mr. Oladimeji Olateju. I also recognize the distinguished presence of the former president of the student union, Mr. Olufemi Odeshola. Again, Faculty of Arts, Professor Adebola Ekaola, you are most welcome, sir. Yes, sir, the chairman for this section, we are going to moderate, sir.
Sure, you'll agree with me that the Vice Chancellor has given us a very comprehensive account of the state of the university. And I'm sure that at the end of that account, we must all be feeling very sorry for Professor Laika, realizing the enormity of the problem that he's faced with. And I hope that that sympathy for him will be part of the feelings with which you go away from here, which will fire your determination to redress the very terrible situation that the Vice Chancellor faces at the moment. Now, we'll have a few questions or contributions from the audience, and I think it's only proper that the first person to be invited to make a contribution should be the representative of the major landlord of the University of Ibadan. As it happens, Oloye Malabi is a very, very active person in promoting town government. He is very, very active in anything that relates to the prosperity and upliftment of the city of Ibadan. And I'm sure he would agree that one of the most beautiful adornments of the city of Ibadan is the University of Ibadan. And it's therefore his interest of the kingdom that he represents among us today, to try and promote the well-being and prosperity of the University of Ibadan, so that the university will be in a position to further promote the very, very famous name of Ibadan. So, Oloye Malabi.
The chairman of this occasion, the Vice Chancellor, University of Ibadan, and all principal officers, invited guests, students, gentlemen of the press. It's a great honor for me to be invited to Nigeria's first university, which is sited in Africa's most populous city south of the Sahara, and home of very many firsts in Nigeria and Africa. It is sad to note and hear that Nigeria's first university, which had international recognition and we believe still has, but can be increased, will be in such a parlous state due to failure of man. I believe it was in this hall some 41 years ago that the then head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, retired, removed the cap of the incumbent Vice Chancellor, Professor Olusegun Thomas, to solicit for donation. And since then, that spirit has followed this university and others. So if University of Ibadan was leading, what was the magic? UI, like Nigeria, the question to ask is, we've done it before, so it means we can still do it again. If I heard correctly, the VC said there's a shortfall of 100 million per month. Thank you. So how do you meet up with my little experience in Odua Investment Company Limited for 17 years, where they turn kobo to naira, the board will give a mandate and the management will demand for conducive atmosphere and the tools to perform. So the AGM will come a year thereafter and the result must be shown. If the result is good, after tax, and the profit is big, then they share it. They change the cars of the management, new machines and all that. So it has come to that. The university must also explore new ways. I glimpsed from your presentation, sir. You said the world will move with or without us. Mr. VC, the world must move with us. The world will not move without us. But it takes action, great vision and action. And it is my prayer that by the grace of God, you said this is the second stakeholders forum. In 1997, I was privileged to be in this hall. On Friday, August 8, 1997, I was in this hall as a stakeholder because two of my children had just gained admission to the university. My firstborn in Yoruba land is known as either Daudu or Bear or Aremo. My older daughter, who is in Yoruba land known as Bere. Today they are lawyers. One practices in the UK, the other in Lagos. After that August 8th meeting here with parents and these authorities of UI, I wrote an article which was published in The Guardian on Sunday, November 7, 1997. Sunday Guardian, November 7, 1997, titled to Daudu, Bere and Company. I've sent a copy through email to the registrar, to the Director of Information, and the visitor told me this morning he got a copy. The message is, the university must do what it is established to do, to teach and research. Your raw materials are the students. So the first thing you should do, not only UI, every institution, is to ensure that only fit, proper and genuine students come on your campus. And they must be taught in a conducive atmosphere like our VC said, and even those before him. With due respect, my boss was an alumnus of this university, the Kekero of Esauke, Chief Bolaibe, and they told us the facilities they had, which made them compete with their counterparts all over the world. So, in our own little way, sir, we will take your message to Kabiesi, the Olubadan of Ibadan land. Please let me chorus Kabiesi. Thank you. After all, you invited us to your campus. So that by the grace of God, the first will always remain the first. The University of Ibadan will remain not only the first, but also the best. I said I came here in 1997 as a parent, but I first came to UI 1968. Registrar, don't check your admission record. Yes, my mom was a subcontractor supplying tomato and pepper to Nnamdi Azikiwe, and it was my delight to come here on errands because I made some money from her legitimately. Yes, because rather than charter from our home at the Salejebu or Jababon photo axis, rather than charter Danfo to Nnamdi Azikiwe, I will charter to the gate and dump the baskets, and one at a time I will carry on my head. I was 17-year-old to that place. I made a lot of money, legitimately. So I can never forget you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Oloyedema. We are very inspired by your words of encouragement. I think the floor is now thrown open to the audience. I think it might be better if I took two speakers from my left, two speakers from my right, two speakers from the gallery, and we see how we get it. From my left. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Well, the chairman, sir, the vice chancellor. Hello. My name. Well, I sincerely sympathize with the university on the state where we find ourselves, going by the position of the vice chancellor. But I know that God is faithful. He brought in, he knew a time like this will come. That's why he brought able men on board like this. Professor Obanjo was the vice chancellor when I came in 1988 as a student to this university. And he did so well. The situation wasn't too good at that time. So God knows we needed his experience. That's why he kept him alive and stay here and there. And Professor Oduwolayinka was the dean of PG school when I was my PhD, and he did so well. He was even the first vice chancellor, dean of PG school that I know of, that introduced this PG scholarship, and I happened to benefit. The maiden edition, I won that of the faculty of tech. So I know God will help you, sir, to, even in spite of where you find yourself, to get things done. But going by the presentation and our vision to be a world-class university, I know some things we need to do urgently. And I'm sure the team, able team headed by the HOD Electrical Engineering that you said submitted report yesterday, gave a good report. But I want to add a little suggestions to what they gave in terms of short terms, medium terms, and long term. Because one of the things I think we needed to do, and we need to do urgently, is number one, as we go on, I think there will be need for us to congest our hall of residence. This current situation is not too good. For example, when I brought in my son when he was admitted and I came, I thought the hostels were like it was. That was independence of when I came in, it was my hall. And I know I had access to my best space, reading table, chair. My son said I shouldn't bother to bring table. I still brought. But when we go to the hall of residence, I know that even the bed we brought, this small bed, the hall couldn't contain, the room couldn't contain 3. So we had to remove the bed, they put it on the floor. And there was no space for a single chair, not to talk of table. So we had to take it back. But I know that's where we find ourselves now, and we need to manage. Also, the issue of electricity and water, we need to do something about it. And I have these proposals to add to the good ones and the best that has been given to you. Number one, in terms of the hostel, I think I want to suggest that we should allow willing parents to help out. And what do I mean by this? I will still use my son's hostel as a case study. When we brought him, I noticed that the fluorescent, 2 fluorescents were in the room, they were not working. There were 4 sockets, only 1 was working, and that one was not even in good shape. So fortunately, I found out who was the warden, who is the warden of the hall, and I put a call to him because he's a friend. We were together at undergraduate days, and he told me I would do something about it. And sir, up till when the school went on vacation, nothing has been done. Not because they don't want to do, but because I know there is not, limited resources. I know. And I called him at some point because I understand the electricians managing were not enough, but even when they came, because I had to come several times to find out, and that's why I'm not going to mention the name of the hall. So I came to find out from reporters and others, and I understand these people came at some point, but they didn't have, they said they have made a prediction, but maybe because of funds we have seen, they couldn't get it. And I offered to buy, sockets and everything in the but it's not allowed. And I think that I understand why it's not allowed, because some parents will buy that and the next you see it on what we pay now is not realistic. 40,000 for my child, if the electricity is stable, if there will be constant electricity, there will be water. But the present situation where they have light, maybe 2 hours a day and some other things, it's not good enough. So maybe we should look into issue of public-private. I know Unilag has something similar, so we can look at their model and improve on it, so that the interested partners, maybe estate developers, will manage our assets and they will do it more. So of course, parents will have to pay more, and that will still be okay. And okay, I think others have been taken care of in other presentations. But before I drop the microphone, I want to plead on behalf of the students. I know they have done so unwisely, but please tender justice with mercy, including the boy that was sent away and the entire students. None of them is excusable. What they have done is inexcusable, but please pardon them. And on their behalf, we are on our knees and we are frustrated. So please, thank you.
All protocols duly observed. I say good morning to everybody. I think I have to tell from the last speaker's appeal. Please, great pardon. From my own observation and the inquiry I made, my name is Abdul Wahab Adiremilawa. Muki Baba Nekalami. I'm a member of the IPU, the premier club in the Ibadan, the Progressive Union. So I'm short of the short. Please, my own contribution is not much. We have all forgotten the pioneer students of this university are elderly people, mature people, grown-up people. But the students of today are kids. They are babies. They need to be pampered, and even we parents of today will pamper our children. This is what we don't understand. There is too much gap in communication with the students. The officers here, you take them as they ought to know. They don't know anything. They believe they are here, they are paid, and they must be served. That's their belief. Please, they need to be pampered, not to come down to their own level, but to invite them, to make them understand the situation always. Always. Because from the information I have, the authority had acted too high upon that student you mentioned, and they are all in sympathy with the students. That's why this problem goes on. Please, I appeal to this authority. Let the lecturer who are the student union have a good rapport with the students. Before there is problem, let them understand what is on ground, and you have to bear with it. We are trying, you have to bear with us. But if they bring their problem, please, you don't need to say you just have to bear with it. No, explain to them. All the explanation you have given to us, they all have here. They understand, but if you give them, you don't have the right to come and say, we don't have anything. Please, it doesn't go away. Then you have the student management rapport. Look at the business office. It's being renovated virtually every year. The halls of residence remain the same. And the VC applied spoken in his speech. Everybody is here because of the students. Why are their hostels neglected? So please, let there have good rapport within the students and the management. Thank you.
Economic situation is running so many sectors of the Yes, we know that. It's not new to us. My name is Shewa Adekoya. But I think communication is vital, just like someone said the other time. And I beg you, sir, to draw interest more to students. Because if we are here, if our students are here, and they can't actually enjoy the best to learn in a conducive environment, then it means at the end of the day, their results won't be impressive. Sir, we are also aware that there was a time students in our hall contributed out of their financial inabilities to buy a pumping machine so that they can get water. But it's so disheartening that at the end of the day, the management told them to remove the pumping machine, which means it is obvious that you want the students to learn under atmosphere that is not conducive, sir. Then again, it is so disheartening again that some of our parents here, they are ready to support the fact that all should be increased, as in the fee should be increased. Considering the fact that this is a federal university, and if parents think they want the best environment for their children to learn, I think private universities are there for them to enjoy and pay more. Sir, I will beg you, make the interest of students your paramount concern. As against what you said during your speech, that the interest of the staffs are more to you than that of students. It is wrong. Yes. Yes. Not today. No, he said that. Not today.
Audience, please. My name is Venerable J.O. Adeyemo, a retired staff of this University of Ibadan. Sir, Mr. Vice Chancellor, I first of all commend you for the little you have been doing when you get to the office. I pray that God Father will continue to uphold you and will strengthen you in all your ways. Sir, I want to say something about the students, because I can say from the beginning, the life of students in this university was not like this. I didn't believe, it's not your fault, I'm saying this, because I can see most of our students are standing up and saying, over there, by the time they was here. It's the fact. Even by the time that Baba Daudu was talking, that he was carrying Pepe, my mother can tell you Pepe, that was the period of cafeteria. That was when Ibadan University was Ibadan University. Not now. And everything is moving well. But however, I can say that the situation of things in the university today, the vice chancellors are not to be blamed. And secondly, is the situation of how everybody, both the parents, the guardian, should be blamed. Because the Bible says that teach your children, your son or your daughter, the way they will take. If you put their sinful step there, they will never change their ways. So no children, no students can be pampered. Because they made a mistake that the children of today that we have only, we need to be pampered. You don't pamper anything. You need to discipline. You need discipline, yes. That is it. Because the discipline from the beginning to this our age is still maintained. And the parents have to discipline their children. Even they said, your Bible says that whatever you are at home, as far as I'm concerned, I don't pamper my own children. I follow the word of the Lord, and it's proper with everybody is doing so. Please, sir, The time of our former Vice Chancellor, Professor Yobanjo and Tamuna and one like that, it was fine. When students bring their rioting problem like this, they will say they are looking for the registrar. That is Moji, our first lady registrar in this university. Moji will come out, she's a woman. She will first of all come and approach them, the students, and take all their grievances, everything. And they will settle everything for them amicably. Even the Vice Chancellor, not every time that they allow the student to meet the Vice Chancellor in the office. Please, this is I pray that you started the journey. You started well, you will end well. And God will sustain you. Please, sir, I make an appeal for these students. So please, please, in Jesus' name, forgive them. Thanks. And God will help you. Thank you very much.
Chairman Emeritus Professor and Vice Chancellor. Michael, my father's name is Asu, so I come from the College of Medicine. I think we should thank this event for the address it's given us. To me, two things stand out. The university has been in steady recovery since the year 2000. When the hostels, the first solid renovation of the hostels took place, and the fight against cultism, we have been moving steadily on. If anybody hasn't recognized it, I think the psychologist here can help the person. Two things stand out in this university. The staff must learn to be teachers of today and parents. Our students are at Igora now. The second batch is going there today. There will be two batches there. They haven't had a diesel for electricity for the last 10 days. And they don't riot because we are parents and we discuss the reality. It took me up to 3:30 on Friday to get diesel. And I told the driver, you can't go with the diesel to Igora because it will take us 6,000 naira to carry it there. And we don't have money. I'm going there tomorrow to spend all of tomorrow in Igora. The hostel in Igora is not done since I went on sabbatical in 1997. So no teacher can sleep one night in Igora. University hasn't repaired it and I haven't shot anybody in the head. We keep coping with it and hoping that some recovery comes. The students have those problems and we talk with them. We make all our efforts to get it so they don't riot. I think if teachers at our various places engage these students from what we know as parents, they will riot. It is not true to say we should pamper anybody. Any relationship needs two things: love and care on one side and the other side discipline. If one is more than it should be, you have chaos. So we must discipline the students for tenderly. But more importantly, teachers should become teachers and parents and help this university. I'm hoping that my child is out of school for, is it 3 weeks now? In my house. And children said, I will go to UI because I don't know when I will graduate. You are going to go to UI anyway. Because that's the only university in Nigeria. If you don't know. So please, let us do it both ways. Teachers should become teachers. And parents, engage these students one-on-one. And give advice to our leaders. If you want to be a leader, you follow first. If you can't follow, you are an idiot. I'm sorry for that. But that's it. So please, engage us, you who lead us, engage both teachers and students with discipline and will tender communication to the education. Thank you very much.
Actually, I came a bit late. I don't have access to all that was said before I came, but I have a student in the university. I have to drive down from Abeokuta this morning because this meeting is so important to me. For her to be in the house since about a month ago is not too palatable to me. I want to address the parents. There is no student that comes to the school without leaving a home to come to the school. Yes, let's put apart the issue that is happening, whether teachers, this is happening, but your daughter, your son left you from the house and forming a gang to go against the university is a shame to the parents. I must be very frank to you. You need to, yes, it's true. There are ways to show your grievances. But if you are a guardian, you are a parent, and your child left your house, and the next thing is to go and hear that is ganging up to go against the university authority. Honestly, let's go and learn how to teach our children. This is not what we've gone there for. A lot of things can be resolved, without having to show grievances. In fact, I had some students who are under, covering their face. That's what my daughter told me. Covering your face for what? What do you want to become? We know what Nigeria, we know what is going on in Nigeria right now. Universities are underfunded. I want to tell you that. All these public universities, they are underfunded. You can imagine somebody studying medicine, paying 20-something thousand. If I'm saying it's it's because you have money, it's not so. It is not so. I know when we went to a private university to go and inquire, each student that studied medicine was paying 1.5 million. It's there. So why can't we now teach our children, please, what you are going for? Please, I'm sorry. What you are going for, you are going there to study. Prevention, there's an issue. We parents can resolve it rather than you showing grievances. Now, for what is happening now, I think we need a solution. There must be a solution. Apart from appealing to the lecturer, please allow this student to come back. What can we do now to people to help? We have long-term, short-term, and even immediate solution. I think immediate solution now is for parents to think that what can we do financially? That's what I think. What can we do financially, individually? But if you accept, your children will not kick again because you are the one to pay. What can we afford to do? Is it 10,000? Is it 20,000 that can go for this immediate solution? Let's go. Okay. It's all right. It's okay. It's okay. Thank you. Okay. Now, apart from that, the PPP that was mentioned initially will work. Let's have a group, like a project group, set up for the purpose of looking into this situation and resolving it. PPP may be part of it. Calling the alumni may be part of it, so that everything will be resolved amicably. But finally, please, let the children come back to school. We beg. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the chairman and all the management. Hello. Well, people have spoken. All I want to appeal to the management through the Vice Chancellor that to appeal to you. My name is Reverend Kayode Ige. A fi orúkọ Ọlọ́run bẹ̀yìn, àwọn ọmọ rí problem, wọ́n rí àti sí ẹlẹ́bẹ̀ wọn lórí ẹ̀pẹ̀ wọn padà yóò dára fún yín.
Another round of contributions, and then the Vice Chancellor will respond, will do as he did at the beginning. 2 from the left, 2 from the right, 2 from the gallery. The chairs respect you, sir, and the high table. I also respect and appreciate our parents and stakeholders. My name is OBC Molis, Head of Department of Political Science. The issue at hand has been on air for long. Definitely, the students won't stay at home forever. The university management know what to do. My concern is a more permanent solution. And that permanent solution I have also mentioned in Senate. The government does not want universities to charge fees. That is fact number 1. I personally believe that Nigeria can educate its children or her children. This country is being said to be poor, but I don't agree that this country is poor. The government does not want universities to charge fees. The government doesn't have the political will to fund universities adequately. And so the universities are between the devil and the deep blue sea. PPP will not be a permanent solution. In short, the Oyo State government is facing problem now because of PPP's proposal. I think and I pray that this August gathering will plead with our political class and our government to recognize the role of education in society. This country has no respect for knowledge, and that is the foundation problem. In a situation where United Nations is telling developing nations, if you really want to develop, you must budget annually between 30 and 40%. I'm not even saying they should give us 30 because we have not even gotten up to 15. We need government to recognize the fact that education is the foundation of development. And so if we are going to come out with a communique, as I have seen in the agenda, we don't need to punish ourselves further. The pockets are already too dry. Government should do its job. Government established universities. Government should fund universities. Thank you very much.
Distinguished audience, please, I am the Dean of Students, University of Ibadan. And it seems as if sentiments are being introduced to some of the issues. By God's grace, I am a product of University of Ibadan. And by the time I was graduating, the Emeritus Vice Chancellor shook my hand because I had pleased the examiners both in character and learning. We are all stakeholders in this issue. Some believe we should pamper, some believe we should over-pamper. But what gives me concern is misinformation. It is rather unfortunate that somebody could say that one student offended and they say they should cut his head. For your information, 9 students were involved. 9. And and the records are there. One individual even sent text message that he is not in support of any demonstration to freedom, that he agreed with the decision of the SDC. And what happened? Overnight, through transformers, one blew. What will have been the next line of action? They had to switch off so that it will not affect the second one. That was towards early in the morning. And for your information, the students took to the street. I don't know what to define as peaceful demonstration. When there was backlog of go slow down to Shamanda, and you say that is a peaceful demonstration, we need to define what peace is. And these students were identified, they were queried, and we discovered that this very fellow people are referring to that you should pardon was not, number one, officially accommodated. He had nothing to, he had no stake in that hall. I passed through Independence Hall, and I was warden of Independence Hall for many years. If you are not accommodated, what stake do you have there? And apart from that, this fellow was supposed to be in Port Harcourt or Suez. The records are there, you can go and find out if you want to get the right info, if you want to cross-check what I'm saying. And at the end of the day, he led the demonstration, he was queried, he went through the due process. It wasn't the Vice Chancellor that pronounced judgment. UI operates on committee system. Even if the Vice Chancellor is not here, the committee system will take this liberty forward. At the end of the day, he appeared and he was prosecuted, and it was categorically written in the letter that if you are not satisfied, you reserve the right to appeal within 14 days, which he fails to do. Instead, he brought NANS, and they wrote threat letter to the Vice Chancellor. During my student days, I can count the number of days I shook hands with Professor Banjo as the Vice Chancellor. To my surprise, they brought students from outside, and I invited them the day we had election. My deputy here, the student is around the corner here. We dialogue with them. Because when this thing happened, I had to call the executive of Independence Zone. Because they signed the letter that the body should be removed. And I called them for dialogue, and I told them the implication. How many people signed? They said 250 people signed. Fine. To do what? To remove the wording. Fine. If you add another 250, the wording, the dean of students should go. Then add another 250, the Vice Chancellor should go. Who approved that constitution? The Senate or the Council? We have to decide where we are going. And I always tell them that if you leave this university and your behavior and your comportment is not better than that of our people, then the purpose of the University of Ibadan is defeated.
That's true.
At the end of the day, the students wrote letter of apology in black and white. The student executive of Independence Zone. And when the NANS leader came, that fellow pretended, that fellow who said he's the leader of NANS, graduated from this place, and he wrote the address of Federal School of Statistics in the letterhead. We are breeding criminals if we are not careful. What do you want to pamper? I would prefer to leave this office as dean of students than to say you will allow this type of bigotry to continue in this university. At the end of the day, they brought NANS, they disrupted this place, but it is on record that the students of Independence Hall did not partake in the protest. What led to the closure was superiority contest between the the whole share of independence whole share of ZICO and the president of student union, who is superior. That one was claiming superiority because they took light again. Who can boast of 24 hours of power supply in this hall? At the end of the day, please, at the end of the day, the ZICO students mobilized students to Indy, and from there, the mob went to the gate. They took the students to the place, and they found them uncontrollable. They fizzled away. Student union president is here. If he debate it. No, I want him to confirm. At the end of the day, they could not control the two leaders fizzled away. I had to call the student union president to go and address the students and bring them back. And somebody said the teachers should be teachers. I will not teach thuggery. Even after the boy appealed to council, the council upheld the decision. The council upheld the decision of NCC. What next? If you are not satisfied, you can go to law court. There are laid down regulations of seeking redress, not thuggery. And I'm very much surprised that that lady who spoke, Shewa Adekoya, sir, she's one of the Aluta students. She was in LA police station. The DPO is here. She can bear me witness. What are we breeding? Please, let's find a way forward, but not to acquit the guilt. Thank you for listening.
I will want to stand on the existing protocol. My name's Ayodele Olujide Olayinka. I want to talk on doing things rightly in the university system. Our final year students will write projects, and we discover that most of the projects that have been written are so theoretical. When we have students who are engineering students who are in vocations that are practical in nature, writing theoretical projects, it's very much disheartening. In some other STENA clients and other developed places where students of university students in the engineering, in the automobile, they will give them a project that is practical, that is akin to their course of study. And when they do it, it will be a reference point. Others will actually ask for what they have done, and it will benefit the university. So I will advise the authority of the University of Ibadan. Maybe they have to consult the National University Commission, so that all these theoretical projects will be stopped henceforth, so that engineering students will be given a practical project to do, and this will enhance their course of study. Somebody who is an automobile engineer, somebody who is so that's what I'm talking about, doing things right. And students that are doing agriculture, they can have practical farms, and through their farms, they will have things like tomato, pepper, they will have things like cassava, they will have things like yams, and what they will produce will serve as food for them, even in the university. And even the food, what the cash crops could even be sold to outsiders, and this will generate revenue for the university. The university has a bakery, the university has a water, they sell bottled water, sachet water, and all those things. And we have the International Conference Center that people are making use of. over 1 million naira. If you don't have over 1 million, you cannot make use of that place. That should have been a source of internally generated revenue. And we should put people of integrity, people of impeccable character, people of honest, people who have integrity, so that leakages will be plugged. I'm saying that we should put people that we are sure that they are not corrupt people, incorruptible people, that if they make 10 million, they will say it's 10 million. They will not underwrite it as if they made just 2 million. That if they make 1 billion, they will actually tell the university that they made a billion. And I'm actually talking about our health system in this university. We should work on the health system. Jaja should be turned into a kind of health facility that no one, even the vice chancellor and his family, must attend Jaja. Jaja should be upgraded to a situation that the ambulance service will be ready to pick up any student that has any health issue. So if we can try to do all these things, and the way I'm seeing it, the university will be a better place. So this is just what I have in mind. We should utilize the IGR well, and we should plug leakages. God bless you. Thank you.
I want to appreciate the Vice Chancellor. Way outside what we have been hearing. What the notion we have outside before now is different from what we have now. Listen to the speech of the Vice Chancellor. But however, I want to summarize on behalf of all parents here, on behalf of our children and our future, not our future and the future of Nigeria, we want to tender apology and we want the authority to look into it with mercy, because our God is God of mercy. No matter whatever you are, He's God of mercy. A lot of us offend God. We want God to please forgive and forget and let them come back. That's what we are saying, sir. God bless you, sir. Please, my name is Pastor Lee Emmanuel. Please, I want to appreciate the Vice Chancellor of this great university. We had a different impression when they were sent home. But having listened to the Vice Chancellor, I want to appeal to parents. We are not here for confrontation. To every problem, there is a solution. And we are all parents. And I pray that God will be with all of us in Jesus' name. One of the medium time solutions, when somebody mentioned it, some of us were not too comfortable with it. Government cannot fund education alone. That is the reality. If we don't want to deceive ourselves, these are our children, they are our future. And I believe if we want the purpose of God to come into pass in their life, we have an important role to play. Number one, we should train our children. I told my daughter, if you see anybody abusing the Vice Chancellor, you are in this university, one day you want to get into that position. There is something that we call law of sowing and reaping. If you abuse a leader today, God will make sure when you get into that position, millions of people will abuse you. So please, we have to provide medium-term solution. If it is possible for our children in nursery and primary school, secondary school to pay 60,000, 70,000 per term. Some of those that were admitted last Some of them came from OPMS, from King's College. Let us face reality. Because there was a particular day I came to the university around 8 o'clock. Some of us, we have our daughters here. The whole campus was in darkness. They could be raped. And when that happened, then we are not going to blame the vice chancellor. Somebody said we should appeal to government. Government are having no problems. About 28 states now, they cannot pay salaries of their workers. Look at Oyo State now. Students of primary school, they are told. And secondary school, for the past 6 months, we have directors of higher schools here and continuing education. They can bear me with it. They have not been paid for the past 6 months. Look at the allocation that come to state. Look at the state. Go to our state, about 20 states. So we have a role as a parent to play. If you want good water for them, there was time I went to India Hall. Some parents brought kegs of water. Somebody had to carry that water from the entrance to the rooms. It is not easy. The vice chancellor will not use his own personal money to provide water. That is the truth of the matter. He said last year about 132 million was released from the federal government. This year 732 million. Where is he going to get 400 million naira? So I think what he can do is that we have about 30,000 students on campus. If we pay them, with due respect, I don't have money. But if we agree, video time, let us pay additional 10,000 naira. Wait, 10,000 times 300 times 9,000 will give us 300 million naira. They can use that one to sink more so that they can get. Please listen. In Nigeria, the problem is we are not ready to face reality. Yes, I have a daughter in a secondary school. Last month, everybody knows that the cost of a basket of tomato around 5,000, but the thing was increased to 30,000. And I have a daughter in Houston. They send a text message that listens to this simple information without any furor. The thing was increased to by 10,000 now we have to pay. These children, they are told now, they consume more when they are told. I'm serious. When they are on campus. Please. No, I'm serious. Hello. Yes. Hello, please. My daughter, when she got into the university, I bought all the necessary. On the day they were sent home, now they were in the morning bowls of amala, in the afternoon another thing. And please let us agree. If the 10,000 naira each per parent, I mean they can use it for renovation of the old and some other time, it will give additional money to the. Do you agree?
Nigeria will follow. We want parents who know what is going on here. I'm in the Department of Mathematics and we give projects, application of mathematics to hypertension. What is more applicable than that? Let's know those who are sweating here and those who are ready to make this place up. Let me tell you something. I have 3 sons. If my husband punishes my sons, even if the punishment is heavy, like people are carrying rumor, somebody has been living away when it was just for station for a cement. What is the problem? If the problem You are a stakeholder. Look, University of Ibadan is not a place where we come to whine. We are leaders. Yeah. We are to show the way. What is the solution? That is what we are here for. What is the solution? Please, let me tell you that something here. If my husband cannot bring food allowance for a month because he works in the private sector, will my children die? We must find a temporary solution before the comatose economy the engineer itself. And everybody is looking up to the University of Ibadan. You don't know your value until you go out of this country. If you enter any university as a postgraduate student like I did in the University of London, they have respect for you because of the foundation that the University of Ibadan has laid down. So please, let us not be here to whine. When the president of Ibadan just said, join all the students away from the hostel, I was a member of the committee that said no. Suppose a girl is coming from Sokoto and doesn't know anybody in Ibadan, and she gets raped or she gets abducted, and the government changed the situation. We have been fighting. Further causes that come to the office to renounce and not posting is by the grace of God. We are working here. So let's move forward and show the government the way. Who is in government? Look at the last government. The amounts that we are hearing that have been stolen are horrendous. They are not heard of anywhere in the world. They have been put ashamed. When a child dies and he has been corrected, the best thing is to go to a corner and tell that child, humble yourself. Take the correction. Humble yourself so that you will live long. Honor your father and mother that your days may be long. It is the first commandment we promise, and we should allow them to do it. So I, as a stakeholder, life goes in my house more than in the hostel. I'm not going to fight the vice chancellor because of that. Some people came to this university and said, cancel data. We stood up. We said they are women. Don't run, we don't rule. Data we make about. So we are practical people here. We are not theoretical. And by the grace of God, you are with us forever. So let us look for a solution. It is a temporary solution. It is not a permanent solution. Because I believe that Nigeria will learn from this meeting. Any parent who says government must come and do everything for my house and for my child is not a good parent. Ọmọdé àbájí ìyàlẹ́ lórí kì í rọni lọ́wọ́ lọ́jọ́ gbogbo. So let's get the àtúnṣe gbogbo wa. If the government cannot provide and there is no money in the country, we can temporarily show the way and the rest will follow. And it will be in the annals of history that there was a group of parents who took the bull by the horns, who refused to be led by the nose. Now the dean of former dean of students is here. In UI we have calculated how much electricity is used in Independence Hall, how much electricity is used in Kuti Hall every year. The records are here. They are not theoretical people. Let's look at the total and see how much the government is giving and make up the rest. It is those who stand up and raise up their country who can raise up their heads anywhere in the world and say I'm a stakeholder. Stakeholder is not just for everybody. A stakeholder is somebody who is ready to stick out his head and put hand in the pocket. So let's do something that the rest of the nation will copy. UI is first and best, not just the name. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. All protocol observed. I want to suggest that all of us here, we call ourselves stakeholders. I don't think we need to be hot. We should not make this meeting, we should not make it to be a hot one. We are here to solve problems. If I'm right, I think there are two issues why we are here. I think one is issue of funding and the other one is indiscipline. If I'm right, then I would like to make my contribution. In the case of the indiscipline, I want to refer all of us, because all of us here, if we are not Christian, we will be a Muslim. The last speaker has mentioned something like that. I will refer you to the Holy Quran, just 4 verses. Almighty Allah said, by the time mankind are in loss, except those who have believed and do righteous deeds, and those who advise each other to speak the truth and advise each other to patience. What I want to say is based on this. If you have believed, I think it's one of the commandments. If you have believed and you are a Christian, you are supposed to keep the 10 commandments. One of the 10 commandments is, I want to say it in Yoruba, Iwo ko gbodo se panṣaga. That is what I want to use there. We have to, our children must be disciplined. Full stop. We have to work on this. We don't need to engage the management on this issue of discipline. Our children must be disciplined. And if they are not disciplined, what Quran said at the beginning is, mankind are in loss except those who have believed. If I take the discipline, I mean the panṣaga there, except those who are not doing that. So please, the issue of discipline cannot be negotiated. Our children must be disciplined. If they are not disciplined, it is our failure, the parents. But we want to appeal to the management of the school. It has happened, it has happened. Please have mercy on us. If we can come back, if these children can come back tomorrow, please let them come back tomorrow. That is the issue of, we leave it in your hand. It is something that is very easy for you to do. But I'm going to talk about the funding. Now the funding issue. The funding issue, we have to be realistic. I'm sorry to use this analogy. If one of us is inflicted today with a disease, a threatening disease, everybody who is inflicted with threatening disease today will be prepared to give up all his properties. Am I correct? Then, why are we not ready to spend? Well, I understand the population of the students in the school is about 30,000. Fine. Some parents cannot afford even more than 5,000 naira. The situation is so bad. Some parents cannot afford. The federal government cannot do it. Okay, where are we? Now, if I refer you back to the quotation from the Holy Quran, some people who have can be the saving grace. How much are we looking for? I understand it is shortfall of 100 million per month. I don't know if I'm correct. If it is 100 million per month, out of 30,000 students, and we should be able to get at least 4,000 or 5,000 parents who can make this 100 million naira. It's possible. It's not that we don't want to spend. I've had series of situations where people will give up all they have when they are on sick bed. If that is a way, I don't know the system, the running system of the school, whether it's allowed or it's not allowed. But if some of us, I am ready to be one of the 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 parents. It's going to be a shame if 5,000, 4,000 of you can't get 4,000 parents out of 30,000 who can contribute like 100,000 naira or about 50,000 naira in a month. By the time you do this, please you try it. When you try it, God is going to replenish you.
And when we do this, and this university is set on this global, the best of the global, the best global, then those people who cannot afford or who doesn't want to pay, they will be ready to pay. So I want to suggest that funding is not difficult, it's only you don't want to do it. But the issue of discipline, our children will have to be disciplined. And it's the work of the parents. And please, we are begging the management, let these students resume, if possible, tomorrow. Thank you.
The best crop of students in the whole of Nigeria and the world at large. And we are peace-loving students. Now the fact that we always want a better condition for us. We will not demand for 24 hours power supply. No, but we want at least some power supply and some hours of power supply that will be able to help us in solving some of our problems, like printing and reading at home. And that is why we are ready at every point in time to partner with the school management on the way forward. And so many times, we students will also bring heads together to write position papers on way forward in most of these problems. As we all know, we are 21st century students. We might have ideas that actually move the university forward as well. So therefore, on the issue of students, or on the issue of the protests that occurred the last time, I would say that at a particular point, students at a particular point, we might get out of control. We might think, or we want, that this is our right, and we want it done. But nevertheless, you are our parents here. You trained us. We all came from good home, because I believe you trained us at home. And what you just want, at a particular point, we don't want victimization of students. And that is why everybody is concerned that if the welfare condition is not good enough, we should talk. But this meeting is not for me to give analysis or account of what has happened, because there are different versions of the story of what has actually happened. But what I'm doing this particular afternoon is to plead with our parents that we want them to actually recall everybody back, including the victimized them, because we all have learned our lesson. Thank you very much.
And I want to, I am a clergy, and I want to, go into these things we are in the spiritual way. Please, I want the Vice Chancellor, I want you to know, please, yes, the eyes and the tongue which I'm using now. Yes, I appreciate you. I say I will not hear the students alone. I will come here to hear from the horse's mouth, and I've heard it. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, I will pray to you that this body you have taken into your neck, the Lord will help you to carry it successfully in the name of Jesus. I want to pray to you that as you are trying to, make the lives of these students okay, the life of your family also shall be okay in the name of Jesus. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I want you to know, sir, that all what we are seeing, all what is happening in the physical, as you are seeing it, I want you to consider it into the spiritual. All these things has already been perfected, done in the spiritual. You know there are powers of wasters and emptiers. Do you know that? One of my children went to Agoiwoye University. Before you know it, he should spend like 4 or 5 years. He spent 8 years because of this type of thing. Getting older and older. Please, Mr. President, I invite Chancellor. I want you, sir, to please. I want you, sir, to please consider the problems of these students into the spiritual. They come from different foundations. The Bible says if the foundation be destroyed, spiritually, and I hope you will do it in Jesus' name. I hope as you come here, we don't come here in vain in the name of Jesus. I hope you will consider we parents in Jesus' name. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Yeah, I think before I make the response, I know that from the program there is provision for vote of child. Just in case it escapes the mind of whoever is going to make it. I just like to appreciate all the parents here, because this idea to convene the stakeholders forum came maybe over the last 12 days. But you know our students, they were ridiculing it. They said it's a PTA, that we are organizing a PTA. But there's nothing wrong with that, because we are here in local parenting, that we are standing in the place of their parents by definition. I know that the minimum age to enter Ibadan is 16 years. A 16-year-old boy or girl cannot even vote, so he is still a minor. And we know they are adolescents. They come here 4 years, 5 years, or 6 years, and by the time they graduate, they become young adults. Like the distinguished chairman, our dear emeritus Professor Ayobanjo has mentioned, most of the contributions have been in terms of advice, comments, so we are taking copious notes. I just try to summarize without identifying, not to address individuals. And I think the Dean of Students have tried to clarify exactly what happened. You know, as one of our senior colleagues here, like I referred to earlier, the former Vice Chancellor of Lagos State University, Professor Hussein, if I mentioned it at the floor of Senate when we met on the 3rd of May, he said we are not doing enough, that we should publicize what is happening. That students have gone to town to demonize us and all that. But I mean, I shared it with one of my friends that I believe if a student is fighting me, why should I be replying? They can go about maligning me, but the gap between me and the student is so wide. If anything, I finish at 81. So it still has 35, 36 years to get to where I am today. So I mean, I cannot be asking students. And that is the truth. And I'm also happy that some of the parents who have contributed, they alluded to the fact that I've said so many things about it. In fact, you will think I have two heads or 3 heads. They even put on the internet, R.I.P. Olayinka. So they exaggerated the news of my death. They said, R.I.P. Olayinka, my daughter saw it, she was alive. I said, don't worry, I'm still alive. You know, they have done so many things, but it's not, and I tell students, I don't like people appealing to me as an individual. For what? Am I God? If you offend me or I have an issue, once I sleep over it the following morning, life continues. So there's even no question of begging. We know exactly what to do. And like the point has been made that the university operates on the committee system. So when we get to the bridge, we cross it. The interest of the students are paramount to us. There is a student in my department in geology. I mean, I've narrated the story to many people, but for me, who have narrated with a second class offer. Just because I was in at his oral exam, I convinced the external examiner that he should let us give him first class. I mean, that is the truth. You can go and find out in geology. I mean, you can see me at a distance. And when students demonized me, in fact, one of our senior colleagues in the Institute of Education, she sent an email to me today that she engaged some students that isn't not this same Olayinka that she has known for 20-25 years, that they have said so many things about me. And you know the fundamental problem, some people are funding them. And it's very easy. When I came on board on 1st December, there was a bulletin which was exiled from my vision document. I said my first priority is staff. If somebody has 2 children and they say, give us the names of your children, you say A and B. Does it mean that it prefers A to B? If you say somebody is second, something is second, doesn't mean it's secondary. But somewhere along the line, they have this warped logic that because I said staff is my number 1 priority and student is number 2. So what is wrong with that? Why are you competing with your lecturers? Even if the staff were to be my priority, if you accept that without conceding, what is the problem? Yeah, I say your staff who are teaching you, whether teaching staff or non-teaching staff, they are my number 1 priority, and the student will come second. Let's even assume. So what is wrong with that? They now went to town that I age students. I mean, I can't understand the logic. And somebody now told me that if you say that something is second, doesn't mean that it's secondary. He said, if you have 2 children, Taiwo and Kehinde, how are you going to mention the 2 of them together? I mean, I don't know. Maybe you say Kehinde and Taiwo. If you say Kehinde and Taiwo, I'm still mentioning Kehinde first. And some of you spend 6 years here maximum, if you are in veterinary medicine or college. But I have been here for how many years now? 1977, 39 years. That is the truth. What is your problem? Not talk of emeritus professor, but who has been here for forever as an emeritus professor. I mean, that's why it's a stakeholder. I'm sure none of the grandchildren is attending at the school by virtue of being a former head of English, a former dean of art, a GBC, a vice chancellor, emeritus professor. So it's a stakeholder for life. But the students have this kind. But I mean, I forgive them. I should not be competing with students. Like my child has annoyed me, and I say, okay, let's settle. Am I going to be begging students? I'm never. And someone also mentioned, I mean, I cannot understand. When we were here, I have people in my department who were assistant lecturers. We used to look at them like gods. Assistant lecturers, just about finishing their PhD. I want to talk of Professor Webo, who taught me in my first year here. That was the Adeboye Professor of Mathematics. So that is the truth, and I still relate to her. When she said she has produced some professors, she just didn't want to mention my name. I don't want to mention my name. I mean, that is the way it goes. You cannot be, I mean, we are all Africans, I assume. You abuse lecturers, they say, you can't write it. In fact, they say, which kind of school has he gone to? I mean, I just forgive them. But that is not the issue. We are here to put us together. And they told me that the president of students now wanted to contribute. I said, why not? You can abuse me from that to eternity. The truth of the matter is, those of us on this side, we have our certificates. But they are still working towards certificates. Adding their certificate. That is the truth. The university has been closed for 6 weeks. And I alluded to the fact that this university, in my short 39 years there, we have cancelled 3 sessions outrightly. 3 sessions. To me, it's very painful. And a few years ago, we are also going to cancel a session. But for the fact that I appealed to the vice chancellor, I was DBC academic then, that he should not allow us to cancel a session outright. What greater love can you have for students than that? It's not just coming to my house and you exchange a telephone message. And you know, they are minors. I also have children like them, by the grace of God. But you see, they have a wild mentality that I have against them. For what? Am I competing with you? It's just like me competing with Professor Banjo. The gap is so wide. By the time before I was born, he already had all the degrees. There is no basis for comparison. I mean, when I got my PhD, I was deputy vice chancellor academic. I mean, it's 82 years. He has been here all day. So we should not think people have less useful time use for their precious time. I see Professor Alisomo Juja is the one vice chancellor, head of department. All of them, they give us advice as how to move this place forward. They are so committed to the system. I will talk of those of us who are just who have not even spent up to 40 years. But somehow, because we are here for the students, I cannot understand this for the life for anything that is very competing with their lecturers. That's why you like my lecturer as if they are open. I mean, they are quite from the same husband. So to me, there is no problem. We say we should all the issues here we are aware of them, that we should condense the House of Presidents. In this case, there are 3 parameters: the access to education. I get to, in this year, the chairman of Senate Admission Committee told me that 29,000 students made UID their best choice, who scored 200 and above. 20,000. So we can expect this. Even JAMB allows us to admit up to 7,500. But on our own, we have cut the quota. Because we want to give all of them accommodation in their first year. And like this current session, we gave accommodation to, we admitted 4,008 students. 4,008. Meanwhile, we have nearly 8,000 bed spaces. I have mentioned that when I was giving the brief introductory remarks. So these are the issues. If you reduce the admission, many of your cousins, many of your children will not be admitted. If you admit them, the second day is radical must go. So what do we do? And I know that fingers are not equal, but if you also see the ratio between the shortest and the longest one, it's not as much. All of us have to contribute one way or the other. It's not only money. Even though money is important. Man does not live by bread alone, but still need bread to survive. So this market cannot run without money. And we are not here, we know we are listening to all the beautiful comments made by the distinguished audience. We are going to distill them. Like I told you, up to 8 o'clock last night, we are still ruminating over the report of the other committee. We have not decided it formally to send it. So the input here is also important. And the president of the student union, I have discussed with him over the past 1 week. And we said we are going to also meet with the students before we resume. We tell them how many hours we can guarantee in terms of electricity and water. So I'm happy he said that they are not expecting 24 hours supply. I will also love them to actually have 24 hours. But the calculation is that let's not assume the staff of the electricity distribution company are here. Let's assume that President Buhari even says, okay, give University of Ibadan all the electricity that is produced in Nigeria. In which case we can have electricity 24 hours. That in that case, it's going to cost us 103 million naira a month to power to supply electricity to this campus 24 hours. Do we have 103 million naira to pay for electricity in a month? In a year, it's over 1.2 billion. These are the issues. We cannot run away from the costing of this place. We are not advocating for privatization of the university, but whatever is doable, we will do it. I mean, the chairman of Council Committee on Security, I know that his two daughters are also in UI. They won't be happy for the past 6 weeks, but they will be harassing him. I'm sure that it's almost like a mini school war in his house. That's why you picking us at home. And you can say that of many of our colleagues. So it cannot be we versus them. So that is the truth. But you also need to sympathize with us where we are coming from. And when you also tell your students they should abuse me less. Even if you abuse me or not, you won't move any hear from me. I mean, I go to their office, I see they say which kind of school has it even been to? I look at them. You yourself that you just manage to come here with 200 in your post job. I mean, your job. I wrote job here in 1977, so what are we talking about? These are the issues. We are not mindful of it. I mean, I've visited most of the House of Presidents, and I mentioned that I've been to Queen's, I've been to Bellevue, Cedar, Bello, and Equity. I'm not very happy with the conditions of that which the students live. But what can you do when there is no money to fund the place? The warden of India sent me a note that they need a water reservoir and the reticulation. The bill 7.7 million naira. Yes, 7.7 million naira. And I tried to divide it. They have about 1,500 guests in that place. So it's going to cost each of them 7.7 million divided by 1,500. These are the real issues. In fact, a student of India, Faculty of Arts, came to my office with the HOD, the Professor Gogo. He said if I wanted to be sure of the conditions of that students in India live, that I should come around 5 p.m. and see the way they are scrambling for water. And one of the friends also mentioned that when he came here to drop his daughter, people they were fetching water. I mean, those are the issues. And when if you have only 2 boreholes for a population of 2,000, what can you do? So it can never be enough. I mean, to complement the supply from the university water supply. So we are aware of the problem. It cannot be for want of lack of ideas. But the major constraint we have has to do with the funding. And that's why we appeal to the students. Because by now, we will have started the second semester. And at the beginning of this session, I mean, Professor Azusu, my senior colleague from the college, spoke. Everybody said, let's try to see how we can compress this calendar. So at the final year, students can go for NYC. And we can attend the convocation in November. At this rate, we are going, exactly today, we have wasted 6 weeks. And we are not resuming today. So the other time we can even round up this session, barring any other adulter, will be Christmas. Yes, I mean we wasted 6 months, 6 weeks, and the session was supposed to end in October. Adding 6 weeks to October is not taking us to Christmas, and that doesn't stop them tomorrow. Maybe it's going to be Independence Hall or Baliwa. Even for the first time, we saw postgraduate students leading the demonstration in this place. These are issues. They already have their first degree, and because if they leave the university tomorrow, they can always fall back on their West Africa and their first degree. But the majority of the undergraduates, if they leave this place, they only fall back on their YF level, which will have been still. I mean, that is the truth. So we need to tell ourselves the bitter truth. But generally, we are satisfied with the comments and the suggestions that have been made. None of them is completely new, that we have not toyed with the idea one way or the other. And we still put our heads together and we provide necessary solutions. I didn't want to go so much into the issue of the student who was frustrated and all that, because we also found out that even from the record in this logbook where he was doing his IT in Port Harcourt, there was no evidence that he was out of Port Harcourt throughout that week. So what if anything had happened to him on the how do you account for him? These are issues that we don't have to put in the public domain. It's our student first and foremost. He has the right to come to independence, but he was not even entitled to accommodation that second semester, being a foreign level student of Faculty of Technology. These are issues. So it's very good, it's very easy for them. And when we asked the students to go home on April 26, one of the leaders said they should not go home. And they should not go home. They were all over the campus, barricading everywhere. The authorities said they should go home, but fellow students said they should not go home. Who is now in charge? This is not the Banana Republic, for goodness sake. While we have the interest of the students at heart, we also have to ensure that this place is properly run. I cannot imagine when I was here as a student, Professor Banjo would say students should go. I said no, we should not go. We should not go. Was I the person in charge? I'm probably not good enough to be his first grandchild. I mean, those are issues that we need to relate with. All of us are Africans first and foremost. I know things have changed over the course of the last 30 or 40 years, but at the same time, we should also still respect authority. Not so much about me as a person. I think we had a function here on Sunday. Ironically, Professor Banjo was the chairman of that occasion. Professor Elias, SAN, said he was in South Africa, and when they were talking about UI, it was like UI is the Harvard of Africa. especially when they were under apartheid, the way they used to look at US. But now they go all over the place. All the time, the UI is so bad. You are demarketing yourself. When you graduate from this place, people will say, is it not that UI that we have read so many nasty things about? Students of school of statistics, they are coming here to spoil your university, and you are very happy about it. And meanwhile, their own school is running. Polytechnic, they came here to invade the university campus. Their own school is running. The Lautech is running. But all of them, they came here, they say other NANS. What is NANS? You come here because of NANS. I'm even surprised that because when they were being sent home on April 26, they thought they would be home for 1 week and 2 weeks. So they were very happy. And now the chicken has come home to roost. And somebody said they eat more at home. Maybe because they are not working, they are not reading. So they have to please feed them so that when they come back, they won't be too lean. And we don't have facilities to make sure you feed them very well. Then you know what it takes for Olajika to be taking care of 30,000 children. I mean, it will be so disrespectful of these large judges. Many people here that we have brought from far and near. We are going to convene a meeting of Senate on Thursday. That's 2 days time to decide on the way forward. So, and I also told Aliyu, that's the student president, that maybe sometimes next week we also convene a meeting with the students, the student representatives. It cannot ever be we versus them. And again, I told him that what goes round comes round. Maybe it's also good that I send the students home. But when I was in final year student, Professor Banjo also sent me home. He sent me home at the end of the first semester. What was the problem? No water, no light. So I also have the right to send some people home. And when in 10 years time, when one of them becomes vice chancellor, we send people home. So we are going on the serious note. We are going to have a meeting of Senate on Thursday, God willing. I already told the Deputy Registrar Academic. So we get back to them because before we even finish our meeting, they will have posted everything on the social media. So they will hear from us, and God willing, sometimes we also meet with the students. At least not the 30,000 students, but they are accredited representatives. I think these are some of the things I need to clarify. But we thank you, but the person who has been asked to take the vote of thanks to still do the job for which is well paid. Thank you.
Mola Louise, Dr. B.C. Ojewuyi, Mr. Oluwayemisi Olaoye, and Mr. Uche Ikemisi and Dr. Akintela. Ably supported by Mr. B.T. Adetona. Dr. Louise.
The Chairman, Professor Emeritus Ayobanjo, the Vice Chancellor, Principal Officers of the University, all members of the High Table, distinguished parents, members of the university community, all students here present, all stakeholders, good afternoon. Now the Vice Chancellor and the administration of the university convenes this stakeholders meeting so as to look into the state of affairs of the university, which led up to the closure of the university and the suspension of academic activities. The Vice Chancellor, at the beginning, gave us a lowdown on the situation in the university. In particular, he painted the palace picture of infrastructure financing, as well as reporting on the events that led to the closure of the university. At the end of it, he had made it clear that the government has, over the years, continued to underfund the university in several areas. Personnel costs, running costs, overhead costs, and so on. He explained what has happened with respect to the funds that are raised and the queries about IGL, stating that these funds have been spent on certain infrastructural things like building lecture theaters, fixing roads, as well as building other facilities like the bakery and things like that. And at the end of the day, Emeritus Professor Ayobanjo explained to the Assembly that we are in a very serious state, and that it will be that he was soliciting some sentiments in favor of the university administration and the Vice Chancellor. It was then, after saying a few words in the past and the present, he handed over the mic to the floor. The observations were in 4 categories. The comments were in agreement with the fact that government is underfunding universities, and that government at the same time is saying that universities should not charge more fees, and that therefore we should call on government to do its job as government by providing for the needs of the university. It was also observed that discipline is the hallmark of any great institution, starting from the home. As such, the responsibility for discipline rests on the university administration, but more especially on the parents and the guardians of our students. And so it was also mentioned that there seems to be a gap of communication between the students and the administration. In particular, it was stated that the university staff and lecturers should interact more one-on-one with students and explain the situation to them so as to avert a recurrence of the current state of affairs. All right, and then eventually some suggestions were made with respect to the way forward. Primary among this was suggestions about funding, and it was said that, appeals should be made to the government to fund institutions appropriately, the university appropriately. But at the same time, we should explore other means, other avenues. The university administration should explore other avenues for the generation of funds, especially by engaging in public-private partnership with willing investors, and allow parents and members of the community to make contributions to the university in different areas. It was also mentioned that we could directly raise funds from parents, asking parents who are capable to come forward and generously donate to the university. At the same time, there were appeals for the opening of the university to academic activities, and that came from various quarters, including the parents, members of staff, as well as the president of the student union. And with that appeal came the appeal also to temper justice with mercy by reconsidering the situation of the students that have been punished. But of course, overriding all of that is the sense that there must be discipline in the institution. It was also said that lecturers and other members of staff would interact more with students, and that parents in particular should also take charge of the discipline of their works. At the end of the day, it was, so at the end of the day, those 4 points were taken as the resolution. We need to look for other avenues of funding, number 1. Number 2 is that discipline ought to be upheld, and that we should do so not only by punishing the students, but by also communicating appropriately with the students. And number 3 is that we should get involved. We should be stakeholders. If we call this a stakeholder meeting, it means that people are ready to stake something. So we cannot just come and say, okay, you guys do your job. Excuse me. You go ahead and do your job, administration. We have no business but keep the universities open. That we should look for means by which everyone can participate in this. And finally, there's been a strong appeal to university administration to reopen the university and, if possible, pardon the students. Thank you very much.
Ulukoya to please rise and present the vote of the registrar, sir.
The chairman of this occasion, Emeritus Professor Ayo Banjo, the Vice Chancellor, Principal Officers of the University, colleagues, staff of the University of Ibadan, students, representatives here present, stakeholders in diverse positions, and gentlemen of the press. When I say gentlemen of the press, I know that the ladies here are also gentle. Where much has been done, much has been said. But first, I want to appreciate God Almighty for what is happening here today. Yes, we came together, we thought of this one because we believe that this is a step in the right direction. There are issues that came along that we wonder if indeed it was going to be possible that we're going to have this stakeholders forum. But from what we have seen here, I wonder how many times the university will come together like this and the whole board will be packed full. So for what we are seeing here today, it justifies the essence of convoking this forum. And I want to appreciate each and every one of you for finding time, number one, to be here, and not just finding time to be here, for staying even that for the robust contributions that people have made here. We really appreciate. Yes, we might have thought at cross purposes, we might have said different things, but we've been able in the final analysis at least to come to one conclusion. And that is what have been read out by the rapporteurs. So I want to thank you very much. I want to, on behalf of every one of us here, and particularly University Management, to appreciate Emeritus Professor Ayo Banjo. Sir, we thank you very much. We know we are privileged to have you, and we know because you might not know, for those of you here, but we know the extent and the volume of contributions that Professor Ayo Banjo has always been giving to us. He is always ready, always willing to avail, particularly from the point of experience. He has been here before. He has seen it all, not only in this university, but in various other universities in Nigeria. And we thank you very much for finding time to be here. Like the Vice Chancellor said, we believe that God is going to spare your life even more than this, and you still continue to be relevant to the university community. The Vice Chancellor, we appreciate you. You have said it all. The bigger the head, the bigger the headache. I don't envy you at all. But we thank you very much for listening to us, even those of us, your lieutenants and advisors, and for allowing even this forum to hold, and the way, of course, that this has also been conducted. For other members of management, for your support for the Vice Chancellor, and for your interest in the university administration, we say thank you very much. Again, I want to come back to this beautiful audience. Indeed, you have demonstrated that you are stakeholders. And like somebody said, and it was Professor Gwebo that said it, I have it here and I wanted to mention it before. I say this without any fear of contradiction. What is happening in Ibadan today is going to determine to a very large extent what is going to happen in other campuses in Nigeria. I tell you, most of the things that are happening here, they are the same things that are happening all over. But people are always, colleagues in other universities are always quick to refer to University of Ibadan to come over here to ask, how have you been able to do it? Just this morning, we have representatives from the university. They came to me. They're having problems and issues in their university, and they wanted to hear from us how we have been able to solve our own problems here. I directed him to the bursar. When the bursar came in, he was just telling me what happened there. So, what we have been able to do here today will determine what is going to happen in other universities in Nigeria. And that is because of the unique role of University of Ibadan. And because you are stakeholders and you have found time to be here and you have contributed positively, I say thank you very much. I pray this will not be the last time. But when we come, it is not just when we come together when we have issues to discuss like this, but we come together because we know that there is need to really move this university forward, and by extension, traveling messages for all those of us that have traveled down, and for the patients. And I pray, just like you also pray, and just like you hope, that when we get to Senate, given the aggregate of contributions that have come here, we'll present to Senate and we'll be able to move forward. And soon and very soon, I assure you that we will come back, the university will come back into full bloom. Thank you and God bless you.
Adebayo won the grand prize for the New York, USA-based Nigerian Higher Education Foundation, NHEF.